Right now with one of my students, and we are going to be talking about her progress from the semester. Now, we know grades suck, and I am not a big fan of having to give them, and that's why when we think about your learning over this process and this time, I think it's really important for us to focus more on the standards and your growth instead of worrying about the number. But unfortunately, there is one that needs to go on the grade, on the report card, so that's why we have to have this. But you're really one of those students who comes to me all the time for help anyways, so you've got a really good grasp, I think, on what you're doing well and what needs work. So talk to me first of all about what you're most proud of this semester, where you feel you've grown, and what you'd like to continue working on, and then we'll get to the grade part after.
Okay. This semester, I'm really, really proud of my lit analysis paper. I feel like that shows the most growth for me as well, because in my poetry analysis paper, looking back, I see how unorganized it was. It was all over the place. And my sentence structure, even though it was improving from my first essay, which was the college essays, it still needed a little work. And now I feel like my lit analysis paper, I varied my sentences pretty well, and my organization, I really liked how I was able to go from one thing to another. Like with the characters that I focused on in Lord of the Flies, I was able to say that, I think it was from Ralph to Piggy, and I was able to foreshadow that I was going to talk about him in the previous paragraph.
So I know something we talked about early in the year was the sentence variety, and I had put you in that group for the expert group.
Yeah.
So how was the experience of being in the expert group in terms of how helping others helped you moving forward?
Well, at first I was really scared because I was in this expert group, and I was like, I'm definitely not an expert on this topic, so I don't know how I'm going to do this. So that really scared me. And then as I was working, I realized oh, they need to do that. They need to fix their sentence variety here. I know what they need help in. And then one of my peers, she asked me to help her with her college essay, and she was way over the limit. So I was like, ooh, you need to cut this out and cut this out, and then you can combine this. So I realized that I was able to do it a lot better than I did previously. And then when it came to writing my own paper, I saw ooh, I'm using these words over and over again, or I'm repeating this, why am I saying that? I can change this. So it definitely helped me a lot.
I'm so glad to hear that. So now as we kind of think in terms of mastery and proficiency and where you've been, which I mean, you've always kind of been on the higher end anyway, so you're welcome. I always appreciate the effort that you put in, really, you're concerned, and not for the grade, I think. I think you genuinely want to get it, and that's something I really appreciate about you, the effort. You start things early, you organize. When I give you a strategy, you always try it. You never give me a hard time. You're just like, oh, okay, I never thought of doing it that way, and then you try it, and if it works, awesome, and if it doesn't, we work on a different strategy, and that's fine too. So in terms of mastery, and not thinking about pupil path and how many E's and how many M's you've gotten, but more in terms of your comfort level with certain things and your ability to replicate what you've learned without help. Where do you find yourself right now in terms of mastery overall?
To do by myself, probably just meeting, or not meeting, a little over meeting, but not exactly mastering yet.
Okay.
So I still need to work on doing stuff on my own, being completely independent, but for the most part, I think I'm going to be able to do that, and I definitely will by the end of the year, but maybe not now, 100%.
Okay. So if we know mastery is this ability to apply what we know in different settings by ourselves, how does that line up in terms of, unfortunately, having to put a grade? Where do you see yourself at the end of the first marking period?
Like a letter?
Yeah.
A-ish? See, because I feel like I'm between a B+ and an A-. There's nothing in between a B+ and an A-. So hopefully I would be able to get an A-, but I'm not 100%.
Okay, well, I mean, if you had to delineate somehow between that, and I hear what you're saying, and this is part of why I hate grades to begin with, because we've covered so much. And some things you are really, really, really strong in, and you do take the risks, you're excellent at participation, you're really good at being a part of what's going on in the space, you think on your feet, you're a strong reader even though you're still working on the pace of your reading. But the depth of your reading is good. So, and the writing is really the part that you just need to be more confident about, more than your ability to do it. I think you need to see what I see on my side, which you don't yet. You will, though. You're going to be forced to. Over a little bit more time, you're certainly going to have the opportunity to sort of expand on your own, and I'll be here to catch you if you fall, but I'm hoping by the end of the year you will not need the net that is underneath you. So if you're comfortable with an A- and that's where you are, then I am totally comfortable giving you that.
I feel like right now that's a decent spot for me to be, because like in the beginning of the year I was struggling, not so much, but I was struggling a lot compared to where I am now. So I feel like that improvement, like, should.
Well, your reflections are really, really, really good. And like I
Thanks.
said,
I like writing them. I didn't think I would like them as much as I do.
I like them too. They're fun. And your voice comes through just like on your blog and all the other
writing
stuff.
my blog. That's a lot of fun too.
So really, I guess now at this point, one thing you really want to work on moving forward, what is it?
Definitely my confidence in my own work, because I'm always so unsure with what I'm putting out there.
Right.
So I need to work on that. And even though my organization has gotten better, I still feel like I need to work on it a little more, because that organization got to the mastery level with some help. So I want to do that on my own.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. Thank you.